Dear Sagittarius, pause for just a few minutes. Not to run anymore, but to listen. Not to the sounds outside, but to the echo within you. The one that's been calling for a long time now. You know that feeling. It's not loud, it's not clear, but it's intense. Like a flash of lightning in the stillness of night, leaving behind a vibration you can't name. It wakes you up at dawn, makes your heart race faster than usual, leaves you with the sensation of a silent storm swirling in your chest. It's not random. It's the whisper of your soul, the deepest part of you, resonating before a great shift. Something ancient, something not of this lifetime, is preparing to break apart. And you, Sagittarius, are standing right at the epicenter of this transformation. Because you are the traveler between realms. You are the zodiac sign brave enough to step into lands no one else dares, searching for truth in the very places others are too afraid to look. Your soul knew, even before you were born, that one day you would return to a crack in the lineage, not to accuse, but to set free. And that moment is now. If you're feeling a strange vibration in your body as you hear this, remember that this message did not find you by accident. You are the one chosen to end what generations have silently carried forward. Know that I am not just speaking to you through a screen. I am whispering to the oldest part of your being, where light and shadow have never been separated. And before we begin, I want you to leave a sign, an affirmation for yourself and for the spirits listening beside you, by writing in the comments, "I am Sagittarius, and I am ready to face the truth with a free heart." Just one small act, but it may awaken a sequence of destiny. Because today, this reading isn't just a tarot session, it is a sacred altar where a covenant is breaking, and the light is pouring through your very heart. Now, I need you to understand this very clearly. This message is not just a spiritual guide. It is a fragment of memory hidden for generations, an ancestral crack once buried in silence, and now it begins to release its first sounds. And you, no one else, were chosen to listen. Not because you are perfect, but because your soul is brave enough to break the cycle. Because only those who have been lost in the search for truth can understand the sacredness of a first honest word. You didn't arrive here by chance. Your soul knew, long before you took your first breath, that one day you would return, not to escape, but to heal something that was never named. The tarot deck opens, like a sacred altar. No sound, no image, only a presence so intense you can almost touch it. And the first card is the Four of Swords, a deep pause, a moment foreign to most Sagittarians because you were born to move, to seek, to rise. But this time, you can't run, because the truth isn't waiting on some faraway road. It's hiding in the silence you've been avoiding, in that unsettling feeling you couldn't explain, in a glance that chilled you, in a sentence that stole your sleep for nights. Your intuition, even when dismissed, has been recording every tremble. Then comes the Six of Cups. It opens a door into the past, not just childhood memories, but soul bonds with those who left quietly. A tired mother. A brother who disappeared without a word. A grandmother you only remember in dreams. Those fragments start to burn again, not because you're fragile, but because the wound can no longer stay hidden. You see, sometimes truth doesn't need words. It only needs a heart sensitive enough to feel it and a soul strong enough not to turn away. And then, the Three of Swords appears. There is no clearer symbol of heartbreak, but this isn't recent pain. This is betrayal across time. Someone was silenced. Someone was pushed aside because they saw too much, felt too deeply. And you, Sagittarius, are the last one left to hear that echo. I know your sign craves freedom. But true freedom doesn't come from leaving it all behind. It comes from turning to face what was never looked at. And once you begin to feel, the dreams arrive. The old house, the blurred faces, the call you can't describe but can't forget either. None of it is random. It is the call of blood, the memory of your ancestors, and then the tower. Something in your family history is about to collapse. A lie long protected in silence. A revered figure wearing the mask of virtue but not of truth. All of it will fall, and you cannot stop it. If your chest feels tight, your throat closes up, you shiver suddenly, it's okay. This is truth, being set free for the first time in generations. Let yourself feel it. Stay here, because what's coming will redirect your entire path and guide you toward the road where light has always been waiting. Then, the hermit appears. No longer the wanderer searching for light, but you, holding the lantern, shining it on the wound in your bloodline. Not to accuse, but to end the cycle of forgetting. Have you ever felt like someone was sitting at the edge of your bed? Not threatening, not visible, just present. A whisper you couldn't quite place. That's not imagination. It's a memory trying to live again, through you. The Five of Swords turns over. It speaks of unspoken conflict, of betrayal in disguise, of control masquerading as protection. You weren't part of the agreement, but you're living the consequences. You begin to feel breathless, not because you're weak, but because emotions repressed for centuries are rising through your body now. And this is when I invite you, pause. Take a deep breath. You are strong enough to stay, and in doing so, you are healing what no one before you had the courage to even touch. If your heart is reacting to this, leave a comment below as a confirmation to yourself. I am Sagittarius, and I am ready to step into the truth. Don't underestimate what a single sentence can do, because to the universe, a single truth can end a lie that has lasted lifetimes. Dear Sagittarius, pause for a moment, just a few minutes. Not to keep running, but to listen. Not to the sounds outside, but to the echo within you. A call that has been waiting for a long time. You know that feeling. It's not loud, not clear, but intensely present. Like a flash of lightning in a quiet night, leaving behind a resonance you can't quite name. It wakes you at dawn, makes your heart race, leaves you feeling as if a storm is quietly swirling in your chest. This is not a coincidence. It's the whisper of your soul, the deepest part of you, resonating before a monumental change. Something ancient, not belonging to this life, is about to break open. And you, Sagittarius, stand at the epicenter of this transformation. Because you are the traveler between realms, the zodiac sign that dares to step into uncharted lands, seeking truths others wish to forget. Your soul knew, even before you were born, that one day you would return to a crack in history. Not to condemn, but to liberate. And that moment is now. If you're feeling an unusual vibration in your body as you hear these words, remember, you're not hearing this by chance. You are the chosen one, to end what generations have silently overlooked. Know that I'm not just speaking to you through this screen. I'm whispering to the oldest part of you, where light and darkness were never separated. And before we begin, I want you to leave a sign of affirmation for yourself and for the souls listening with you by commenting below. I am Sagittarius, and I am ready to face the truth with a free heart. Just a small gesture, but it could awaken a chain of destinies. Because today, this reading is not just a tarot spread, it's a sacred altar where a covenant is being broken and light is flowing in through your very heart. Now I want you to understand something clearly. This message is not just a spiritual guide. It's a fragment of memory hidden through generations, a crack in ancestry once covered by silence, now beginning to leak its first sounds. And you, no one else, are chosen to listen. Not because you're perfect, but because your soul is brave enough to break the cycle. Because only those who have been lost in the journey for truth truly understand the sacred value of a first honest word. You're not here by accident. Your soul knew, even before you were born, that there would come a time you'd return, not to run away, but to heal something that has never been named. The tarot deck opens like a sacred altar. No sound, no image, only an intense energy so strong you can almost touch it. And the first card is the Four of Swords, a deep pause, a moment that every Sagittarius finds unfamiliar, because you were born to move, to explore, to reach out. But this time, you can't run anymore. Because the truth doesn't lie in distant roads, but in the silences you've avoided. When you felt something was wrong, but no one confirmed it. When a glance made you shiver. When a sentence kept you awake for many nights. Your intuition, though ignored, has always remembered each of those vibrations. The next card, Six of Cups, appears like a door opening to the past. Not just childhood memories, but the soul connections between you and those who quietly left. Tweak your biz. A weary mother. A brother who disappeared without explanation. A grandmother you only remember through dreams. Those fragments of memory begin to ignite, not because you're weak, but because that wound can no longer be hidden. You know, sometimes the truth doesn't need to be spoken. It only needs a heart sensitive enough to feel and a soul strong enough not to retreat. And then the card Three of Swords appears. Nothing clearer for the pain of betrayal. But not recent betrayal. Generational betrayal. Someone was once silenced. Someone was once pushed away, simply because they saw too much, felt too deeply. And you, Sagittarius, are the last one left to hear that echo. I know you're the zodiac sign of freedom, but true freedom doesn't come from leaving everything behind, but from facing what has never been confronted. C&I Studios. And as you begin to feel, strange dreams appear. The old house, faded faces, a call that's unclear but persistent. None of this is random. It's the call of blood, of ancestral memory. And then, the tower appears. Something in your family history is about to collapse. Medium. A lie once kept in silence. A noble figure wearing the mask of morality but not truth. All will fall. And you can't stop it. If you feel chest tightness, a lump in your throat, sudden chills, that's normal. That's the truth becoming free, for the first time in many generations. Let yourself feel. Stay here, because what's coming will redirect your path, leading you into the light that has been waiting. Then, the hermit appears, no longer the wanderer seeking light, but you holding the lamp to illuminate the wounds of your lineage, not to accuse, but to end the cycle of forgetting. And then, the justice card is drawn. The answer doesn't lie in symbols, but in tangible actions. An unexpected message, a conversation thought long forgotten, a memory suddenly vivid as if it had never been hidden. Your soul has already knocked. The universe is opening the path. What was once blocked can no longer be held back. The Four of Pentacles reversed appears. Someone once held on to something that wasn't theirs, not just material possessions, but information, emotions, truth. Perhaps they did so out of fear. But that fear is no longer yours. A male figure emerges, not necessarily violent, but his energy is suppressive, controlling, making decisions for the entire lineage through his ego. He may have passed, or still be alive, or be a memory etched deeply into those who remain. And then, the Queen of Swords appears, no one else but you. You are no longer the one who doubts, no longer the one who remains silent. You are the one who brings forth the truth with intellect and compassion. This queen doesn't need to shout to be heard. She only needs to stand in truth, and the entire room falls silent. And you are awakening that queen within yourself. If you've ever felt alone on this journey, let me say this clearly. You are the one ending the family's pact of silence, and the light has chosen you for that reason. If what you're hearing makes your heart ache, leave a comment below. I am a Sagittarius, and I choose the truth. Because you're not just rewriting history. You're ending a curse. Have you noticed your recent dreams becoming unusual? Abandoned houses, endless staircases, sealed doors that won't open. This isn't chaotic subconsciousness. It's your subconscious touching the ancestral bloodline, where a part of your soul was once left behind. And if you see broken mirrors, stopped clocks, or withered plants, pause, look closely. Remember, these aren't signs of an ending, but the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy, the moment when truth can no longer be hidden. The Tower card appears again, this time not as a warning, but as truth allowed to collapse. Perhaps a heated argument, an opened letter. A secret that can no longer bear the weight of time. You cannot stop it, and you shouldn't, because Sagittarius wasn't born to protect falsehoods. You were born to liberate, to shine light into the darkness, to pave the way for a new generation unburdened by ancestral weights. And the spirit accompanying you begins to draw nearer, not as a ghost, not to frighten you, but like an electric current, still yet strong, peaceful yet undeniable. What do they say? Thank you. Thank you for not turning away. Thank you for hearing what those before you lacked the courage to listen to. And in that gratitude, the Ace of Swords appears. This is your sacred weapon, Sagittarius. Not a sword, but a truthful word, a clear thought, an unwavering decision. You don't need to argue, don't need anyone to believe you, because you're no longer here to convince. You're here to stand in truth and become the change. The old covenant has been broken, and the blood is finally allowed to speak. Do you feel the air becoming lighter? Not because everything is over, but because you've crossed the threshold. From now on, you're no longer alone. The spirit walking with you is no longer outside. It lives within you, breathes with you, guides you with the very beat of your heart. And then, the Ten of Swords appears. There's nothing left to fight. Not because you've surrendered, but because everything that once needed protection has fallen away. The lies hold no more power. The veil has been torn. You see clearly what once made you doubt yourself, and you release it like dropping a heavy bag of stones after a long journey. But tarot doesn't come just to expose pain. It shows the way out, and it does so through the Eight of Pentacles, a card of building. Not loud, not rushed, just step by step, you heal. Not for anyone to see, but so you can be free. Now, you no longer need validation from the outside. No one needs to believe you. No one needs to understand or apologize, because your truth is no longer dependent on anyone else. The deepest form of recognition comes from something sacred, from the proud eyes of an ancestral soul, one who has waited for this moment across lifetimes. And then a symbolic image appears, a child sitting silently in wait, eyes wet yet filled with hope. You recognize them. That child is you, the inner child, who was once abandoned, misunderstood, and forced to pretend to be strong in loneliness. But now, you have returned. You have become the hero that child once prayed for. And in the very moment you fully embrace that child, the Ace of Cups appears. This is the rebirth of the heart, a new love, not one that demands sacrifice, but one that allows you to be more fully yourself than you've ever been before. It might come as an unsent letter, an unfinished dream, or a gaze that stops you in your tracks. This time it's different, because this time you no longer have to trade your truth just to be loved, and the spirit who has journeyed with you, before departing, leaves you one final gift, a butterfly, a ringing bell, a dried flower. It will show itself in the next few days as a confirmation that the cycle has closed, and what comes next is the quiet reward for your courage. And then the sun appears, light after darkness. Joy without disguise, clarity that does not harm, a love that no longer asks you to shrink. You are now entering a phase of attraction without effort, only by vibrating in the frequency of your truth. And when you live aligned with the rhythm of your soul, your entire lineage will know. The spirits who could never live freely will finally rest, because you did it, because you didn't give up, because you, Sagittarius, broke the chains. The next card appears, the Nine of Cups. A wish fulfilled. Not exactly as you imagined, but better, because it is truly yours. And if you're feeling this, if your heart is stirring right now, leave a short but powerful sentence in the comments. I am Sagittarius, and I don't turn away when truth finds me. And if this has touched you, send this video to someone you believe is in need of light. Don't just scroll past like it's any other video, because you already know, messages like this only arrive to the right soul. At the right moment, what you're worthy of will finally find its way to you, not through noise, not through outer recognition, but through a quiet, sacred, undeniable vibration. Don't try to name it, don't explain it, don't cling to it. Just slow down, feel it, and allow yourself to receive. Because this transformation is no longer a future promise. It is a living presence inside you now. And then, the magician appears. Not everyone gets to see this card. It doesn't show itself to those seeking power. It only reveals itself to those who have remembered who they are. You, Sagittarius, the one who went far, ran fast, looked up at the sky while still carrying a nameless fire in your chest. The one who was called vague, lost, different, is now standing firm among the ruins of what was never real. You're no longer crushed by the shadows of family, of fear, of distorted memories. The universe is returning to you a gift, not wealth, but a sacred power that was once taken. Intuition, creativity, the ability to see what was never said out loud. You were once told you were too sensitive, too dreamy, not realistic. But now, what once was your wound has become your compass. So don't rush, don't push yourself to shine. Real light never tries to prove itself. Open all your senses, because from this moment on, you no longer doubt. You only carry a mission. The next card appears, the King of Wands. You are the one your entire bloodline has been waiting for, to speak on their behalf, not to control, but to lead through lived experience. Not with words, but by presence alone. You don't know this yet, but the journey you are on will become light for someone else still walking through the same darkness you once survived. And then, the spirit who once walked beside you leaves, not to abandon you, but to honor you. They no longer need to guide you, because now, you are the one holding the torch. Before they go, they leave behind one final symbol, the golden key. It may appear in a dream or in an old object or in a moment you can't explain with logic, but you'll know. you'll know that is the door, leading into a new chapter, a new land, a new version of you, a Sagittarius restored. And as you walk through that door, the Empress appears, not as a vague symbol of femininity, but as a being of abundance, rebirth, creativity, fertility, and unapologetic truth. You no longer need permission to bloom. You bloom because it is your nature. And this energy has always lived inside you, just waiting to be unlocked. Now you are the link, liberating the lineage behind and ahead. What your ancestors could not do, you've done. What they could not name, you dared to speak. And because of that, your descendants, whether by blood or by spirit, will no longer carry these wounds. And then, the final card falls, the world. Not just an ending, but a sacred completion, a returning to self, a long-awaited embrace from dreams that never found words. You are no longer who you were, not because you're more successful, but because you've awakened. The trials will still come, but you are no longer alone, because now you carry the tools, because now you carry the light, because now you know who you are. And most of all, you know what you're worthy of. If your heart feels warm right now, if you sense something has been affirmed deep inside, leave a vow in the comments. I am Sagittarius, and I have opened the door to my destiny. Someone might be waiting for you to share this message, because light always finds light, and you might be the one holding the key for another soul.